All right, so I'm going to log into Ellii right here, and you'll notice that once you've logged in to Ellii, the um, the the platform is in itself a library. It's a library of ready-made resources, lessons, flashcards, videos, ready-made courses, all kinds of different materials on the site. And it's really about trying to find the most relevant content to your teaching needs in sort of the shortest amount of clicks. So I've landed right here on our Discover page, and you can see we always have something that's sort of related to something that's timely and relevant to today. So Veterans Day is coming up soon. In Canada, it's called Remembrance Day, where I'm from. So we've got some lessons on that, some must-see materials. We've got a partnership with the Associated Press, and so we always create content around news articles from them every second day or so. We'll put up a new lesson based on something that's trending in the news. And generally, just this Discover page is just a place to sort of see what's going on and what's been new and what's new and what's been added to the platform. But we want to focus today on sort of workplace English and IET, and I want to show you some ways to find material quickly and sort of build out a curriculum. And even if you're not going to use Ellii, this might just give you some ideas around creating your own content as well that's similar, but that you're doing on your own. So I'm going to go up to the top here and just look right in the search here, and I'm going to start by typing in workplace. And when I land on there, I get a bunch of different results, lessons, flashcards, videos, study packs, all different types of material related to workplace. And I can see them down here. There's some lessons, some flashcards, blog posts. Here's a couple from Emily Bryson. And it is so unfortunate that she's stuck on on a boat right now. It was delayed and she couldn't get off. And so that video might have to play instead of her actually participating. But she's written some articles for us all around workplace English, why you should teach workplace English, how to teach workplace English. And then Tara, who's with us as well, has a post here on career pathways for newcomers. So there's a lot of free resources on Ellii where you can just sort of learn some teaching tips just by typing up into the search right there. But I'm also focused on sort of building out a curriculum here, my own curriculum through the Ellii resources, or you could do it through your own if you want to just sort of follow a sort of a similar method here. I've clicked into the workplace safety lesson right here. I can take a peek at it, open a PDF. And here's the workplace safety lesson with some pre-reading vocabulary. There's a reading all about safe lifting, for example, or another reading about PPE required on site. Another reading here about dangerous chemicals. So this is a ready-to-print lesson plan that can be administered to your students, but also in digital form, it might look something like this, where you can sort of match words to definitions, call on your students. Oops, sorry, I'm in a zoomed in mode here, so that's putting it too big there, but it wouldn't normally look like that. I've zoomed in for the sake of this lesson. In any event, so you can find these lessons, and as you find lessons, you can add them to a sort of Kanban board lesson plan style lesson planner. So I'm going to go ahead and add this into a lesson planner. So I've got a class here called Low Intermediate Adult Class. I'm going to drop that in there for now. And I'm going to put it into my prepping lane. So at Ellii, we put a big emphasis on planning and preparing. I'm going to show you that in just a minute of how you can sort of create these prepping lanes and planning lanes for administering content to your students. Even if you're not using Ellii, it's a way to just sort of have a bird's eye view and an overview of the content that you're administering to students. So I'm going to put this into my prepping lane. We'll come back to that shortly, and I'll show you how that sort of works in terms of planning. But I want to go and see what else we have in real world readings that might relate to workplace content. So I can click right into this section here and drill down deeper here as well, and see that there's a section here on employment, for example, and I can see some other things like employee benefits or work schedules or job ads. So I might want to add some of these others as well. Here's one for job ads, vocabulary preview. Here's a job ad, another job ad, and then in digital form as well. If we're doing something interactively with our students, you'll see that they are the same type of questions, and then some readings and some multiple choice. I'm just doing this really quickly to give you sort of a bird's eye view of the type of content that's available on the platform. I'm going to add that one to the class as well, and I'm going to put it into a prepping lane. And what I'm trying to do here is sort of build out sort of a schedule of material that I'm going to send to my students over time. As well, I can go back to this other section here and go into collections. And under collections, we've got a variety of different types of collections. They're all related. Pardon me, they all have a variety of different materials, flashcards, videos, lessons, etc. I'm interested right now to see if there's anything in employment within EL Civics and the co-ops, for example. So I'll go into employment here. And under employment, I can drill down to just lessons, and I can find some material here that might be relevant for the workplace material that we're working on. So asking for a raise, preparing for a presentation, attending an online meeting, working remotely, onboarding, networking for a job fair. I can click right into these and assign them to my students. But more recently, we've started focusing, and this is where we're going to get to some of the allied health and the IET material. We've been focusing on building out these courses and study packs related to workplace English. And I'm going to bring in Tara in a minute here just to sort of talk about how we've developed these. So if I go into courses and study packs, for example, we can see there are complete sets of materials that can be assigned and administered to your students all as one assignment. So there are a variety of different types of courses. There are academic courses or general English courses, grammar, skills, pronunciation, but I'm going to drill down to workplace here. Under workplace, we've got two different types of courses. We've got ones that focus on a specific field, like English for custodians or English for paraeducators, English for nursing assistants or for pharmacy technicians. And then we've got more general ones like pre-employment in the US or phrasal verbs and pre-employment, phrasal verbs and employment, etc. So I'm going to bring on Tara here just to sort of talk about how we've been trying to build these courses. And hopefully during the breakout session, we can get some feedback from all of you as well about different ways that you're administering your IET and workplace English materials as well. It might provide us with some insight into how to build out more of these types of courses.
So Ellii, formerly ESL Library, was always known for our one-off lessons and covering content that a lot of publishers didn't cover. So this year we've focused on a specific theme, and that is workplace. Every year we kind of pick a different theme or a different target that we have a gap in our giant library, and workplace was a gap for sure, but also a major trend in ELT this year. So that's what we're focusing on this year, and that's our lessons, our courses, our videos. We're just really filling that gap. So one thing that we've had a lot of requests for is just career-specific courses. And as you know, healthcare is one of those fields that is really in need. So we started there, and we were getting a lot of requests for courses or content related to nursing assistants, pharmacy technicians, dental assistants. So we are not experts at Ellii in these fields. So we brought in some collaborators who were experts in the field who helped us build these courses out. And this is what we've got so far. And we're hoping to get lots of feedback for these before we kind of move on to the next industry. And so that's why we're excited to have all of you here. We're hoping that we'll get lots of feedback and we can make some changes to these courses and add some new ones to our library. We definitely decided to take kind of a self-study approach to these courses. So if you want to click into these ones, most of our content on Ellii is available in print and digital formats. Since these are brand new and kind of in beta mode still, we've released them as digital courses, and they're really ideal for self-study. And we'll build them out a little bit more as we get feedback and as we start creating new types of industries. We're going to build them out a little more, but these ones are digital only, and they're all kind of following a similar pattern. So if you want to just maybe click on the first task in here, Ben. And each course starts with a video intro that the students will see just to kind of give them an idea of what the course is going to be about.
Hey students, welcome to Ellii's English for Nursing Assistants course. Nursing assistants work in hospitals and other healthcare settings. They make sure patients get the care they need and help medical professionals do their jobs. The objective of this course is for you to become familiar with some common scenarios where nursing assistants require English to interact with patients and colleagues in a hospital. This course may
So you get
inspire
the
you to
idea.
consider.
It just starts with an intro about what they're going to learn. And then how does the structure of the actual lessons work, Tara?
Right. So, and just to let you know that these are non-credit courses. They're not meant to be for credit. They're just meant to be for career exploration, a really good starter for students that are not sure what careers they're, interested in, what they want to get into. So this is the type of course that we've built at Ellii. So we have these courses all follow the same pattern. So there's about 8 lessons within each course, and they all are based around a dialogue. So patient admission, taking dialogue, taking vital signs, assisting with mobility, and you go into each one and it's going to be focused on the dialogue. So there's 8 lessons, and in the middle you'll see a mid-course assessment, and at the end there's going to be a final assessment. This will just give you a little bit of an idea of what's in the lesson, course objective, how long it might take to go through it, and just a little blurb about each unit.
And really what we tried to do here, and you may want to do the same if you're building your own curriculum around workplace, is, as Tara was mentioning, our publishing company doesn't have a set of in-house experts who are in all of these different fields. And so we brought in some experts to help us develop the content here, but really we decided to make this a focus on essentially exploration of these different areas of work. So we're going to focus on some key vocabulary, some key expressions, and some dialogue around this field to keep it simple, but to get people interested in the topic itself or in the area of work.
Right. And these first ones we've done are at a low intermediate English level. We've had some requests now for higher level English. We actually on our publishing team think that it's pretty tough to do career specific content at a low intermediate level, but this is what the market was demanding. So we've tried it out a little bit, and we're excited to be able to offer even better courses at a higher level when, students have a higher command of English as well. So this is a look at inside of a lesson, and all the lessons, as I mentioned, follow a similar pattern. So it starts with a picture dictionary, just a vocabulary preview, and we had a lot of requests for real world photos for these courses rather than using our typical Ellii illustrations. So if you're familiar with Ellii, you'll know we use a lot of illustrations. We are really proud of our brand is a little bit different than other publishers. We have in-house illustrators that do an amazing job with our art, but the adult ed students that are focusing on workplace really seem to want to see the real photos and real footage. So we've incorporated that into our courses. So it starts with a vocabulary preview, then a matching task where they move on to match the real definitions. And then the dialogue. So the dialogue is where they will find this vocabulary in context, so they can listen to the dialogue and read the dialogue. There's a hide the text function where they can just, if you're teaching this in class, you can just have them focus on the listening.
Hi, Manuel. How are you
Sorry,
feeling
Tara.
this afternoon?
Hi Anna. I'm still feeling okay.
All right, and then all the rest of the content that follows is all related to that dialogue. So there's a put in order task where they have to see part of the dialogue and put it in order. There's a comprehension task. There's a few comprehension tasks, true or false, or multiple choice. These are really common types of tasks that they're going to have to do in a standardized exam. Vocabulary review tasks. So each lesson will review the vocabulary, just like any lesson you'll find on Ellii. And students can do these tasks on a desktop or on a laptop, on a mobile. It's very mobile responsive.
So, I mean, just going back to sort of how we structured these, if you are building out your own courses around this, there's a simplicity to the lesson plans in themselves and the format of them. It's a big focus on key vocabulary and then bringing that vocabulary into context, into an actual dialogue, and then following up with basic comprehension skills and vocabulary review, going through sort of a variety of different topics within one field. So that was our main format of each of these types of courses, and they all follow that same one.
Right. And for our new, we've just done a course on English for medical assistants, and it's at a slightly higher level. We've integrated some grammar tasks in there and taken out some of the visuals. So it's just, it's very similar, but we're just testing out some higher level task types. But the pattern is the same. So these ones actually follow each other. So it's kind of like a series which students enjoy. They follow Julia as she gets a job. And so each lesson has a video in it where they're going to learn some phrasal verbs in context, also through a dialogue.
When you think about giving a presentation in front of your classmates or coworkers, how do you feel? It makes most people pretty nervous, and the main character of our dialogue is no exception. Let's learn some common phrasal verbs you might use while preparing for a presentation.
Ellii.
In this dialogue, two employees are discussing a presentation they have to give the next day. You'll see these phrasal verbs in context. Finish up. Get through. Ask around.
So it goes on to actually sort of teaching those through a dialogue inside of those videos, and then the lesson revolves all around this original video here as well.
Yes,
and then
we just did an Ellii poll on this topic, actually, public speaking. So maybe when Rachel wants to talk about it, we haven't added that one yet to Skillbox, but we are ready to add it. It's a brand new one, and it's a really interesting topic on just being nervous for a presentation.
All right, so these are some different types of courses. Now I'm going to add them to that. Thank you, Tara. I'm going to go back and actually add these now to that that lesson planner, and I want to show you how we're sort of structuring the planning of our courses of our curriculum as well. So let me go back and grab, let's say, that English for Nursing Assistant. I like that course. I want to add the whole thing to my lesson planner. I'm going to put it into the low intermediate, and I'm going to hit put it into the prepping lane as well. Now, often we might want to couple our courses with some extra grammar or some extra materials as well. So here's an example of, maybe if it's English for Nursing Assistant, there's a lot of things where students have to explain in past tense what happened, what injury might have happened. So maybe we want to focus on some past simple or simple past exercises as well. So I can grab something here, let's say from simple past for, let's grab here grammar practice worksheets, and I'm going to add that as well to my class. So it's all about building out your own sort of agenda for teaching. Now I'm going to go to that lesson planner as well and show you how this works. We've divided our lesson planner into 3 lanes, and if you have something else like Trello, there's lots of different boards like this that you can set up, and we've sort of modeled it after the Kanban board. So if you're planning your own curriculum and not using Ellii, but using something else, there are some free tools like Trello where you can set up these Kanban board styles. And in our case, we've made just 3 simple lanes: prepping, teaching, and taught. And prepping is all the stuff that I want to do in the near future, like maybe tomorrow or later this week or early next week. So I can just drag these things up and down and just decide what I want to teach next. The teaching lane is the stuff that I'm focused on right now. That's what I'm teaching with my students. So we're focused on this lesson here, making an appointment, and also this new CASAS prep test here I've given to my students as well, the reading steps level A. And then taught is all the stuff that I've done in the past. So I've got this bird's eye view of what I've done before, which helps me know what I should do next. And it helps me also prepare for what's to come next week. It's a really, really simple way of planning your lessons. And there's lots of these types of free boards available that you could use to plan out your lessons. Here is something that is unique at Ellii that we've built that makes it really easy to assign content. I'm logging in as a student right here. This is Keiko's account here, and she's logging in, and she can go into her class here, this low intermediate adult class. And you can see that she's got 2 assignments here, making an appointment and reading steps level A. And that's what I've got in this teaching lane. Let's say we're done with that CASAS practice test, and we're done with this making an appointment. I just pull it out of the way here. And we want to now focus on that workplace safety lesson that I was showing you at the beginning. All I do is drag that in there. And then the moment my students come back, it refreshes, and this is the latest assignment for them to work on. So the other stuff kind of gets out of the way for them. It makes it really simple, and it allows your students to just stay focused on the assignment that you've given them. They can always come back to this in the past here and see all of their previous assignments, but under current, they've only got that one thing. And then if you're going to be assigning these courses too, I'm going to drag that whole course in there. Whoops. And when I drag that whole course in there, all of the lessons are there, but I can just turn them on one by one day at a time. So just the English for Nursing Assistant is there. There's the intro video, and maybe tomorrow I'll release the next lesson, and the day after the next one. And then as my students come back each day, another lesson has been assigned to them to work on. Or of course, you could just turn it all on for them at the beginning. And then they have this sort of self-study course that they can work on. So this prepping and planning tool has become really popular at Ellii, and it's something that you can do on your own, even if you're not using Ellii. It's a great way to sort of set up and figure out what you want to do next and see what you've done in the past.